Mumbai, was Mr. Bhogilal and his collection. Of course, he was based, as you know, in Mumbai, and though this came up afterwards. And at that point of time, when we featured him and featured his collection, I met him for the first time was in 1986. I think in October or November 1986, to be very exact. And that point of time, I knew about him. We had heard about him. He had this supposed to be India's biggest collection of cars, and then once I got to know him. We talked about cars. Now I had a lot of interest in cars, and so did he. So that's why after that, for many years, over the years, we used to meet every now and then, talk about cars. And he obviously had a dream to set up a museum, where all these cars could be kept, and where the cars would be then accessible to people who wanted to see the cars. Now the important thing is that there are car collections and car collectioners in India. There are many others. There are collections which are also very big. There are collections which may be quite valuable. But there's no collection in India that is as important as this because of how it captures the history of the automobile in India. So if you look at some of the oldest cars in India are here, some of the most important cars in India are here, some of the most significant cars, not just in terms of value or in terms of rarity, but in terms of a car like the Tata Nano is also here, right? So this is the idea, that this is the museum that captures the history of India's automobile, probably better than any other museum anywhere else in India or anywhere else in the world. There are many cars out here which come from Maharajas. Many of them are unique cars, the only kind of its type in India or anywhere.
So please. So that is Brijesh Bhai, Brijesh Chinai.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So he was just giving a brief on the museum.
So what Mr. Bhogilal set out to do, he was the first person in India, a pioneer in India, in actually understanding and recognizing the importance and the value of these historical cars, which he was able to acquire, in fact, at a time when nobody else was looking at them, and then build up this collection, which we believe is the most representative of India's automotive history. In fact, it is, I would think, a matter of, let's say, our national pride to have these cars all out here. It happens to be now, and of course, in Ahmedabad, in your city. And the thing is, as you probably know, Mr. Bhogilal passed away in 2011. And since then, it's been a while. Before, in the recent past, Mr. Bhogilal's daughter, Chamundeshwari, and Brijesh have for a few years now started getting more involved in getting this collection, let's say, put together in a much better situation. So we have just started that process. It's 25 years since the museum was set up, and I will let Brijesh then explain what is the planning, what is the vision of the museum.
Yeah. So, one of the visions or the vision for the future of the museum is that we want this museum to remain alive along with the cars, and we want to inspire the youth of the country to take inspiration from this design, from this craftsmanship, and we want them to be a source of great pride for the nation as we go ahead in the times, because as time moves on, people still come back to the past to understand where it all started and what is the depth in this design that you're seeing in the collection right now. So we want this collection to remain alive, for which we will do a lot of collaborations. Currently, this week we have a collaboration with films or cinema and the cars. So one can see how these cars were used in the films, and when they were used, how they, made the whole movie. For example, Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi. It is a Bollywood film. The soul of the film is the car. That car is there today in our collection.
He also wants, he has something to say.
They have, they have, a, they have a soul, the cars, and therefore we will use such collaborations with cinema, with art, with textiles, to communicate the essence of that time and era where design was so important. For example, you say, how is textile important to cars? Now, these cars were coach built. By coach built meaning the company, like for example a Rolls Royce, only made an engine, they put it on a chassis and gave it to a client. After that, they had to get a coach builder to build on it. One of our cars here is from the kingdom of Alwar. The Maharaja was a strong believer in no use of leather. So he used textiles in the interiors. Very special textiles were produced for that car. And likewise, a lot of the cars here are from royal backgrounds. They were exquisite, they were made where they were very special. Textiles and art becomes a format in those cars. So we will have collaborations like this. We'll also have collaborations with other institutions across the world where we will request them to send some cars, we will send some cars to them. So in that sense, we want to keep these cars alive and as a living embodiment of times today, rather than something which is behind a glass showcase. So this is a living museum, and it is not a museum where everything is in air condition behind a glass. It is something that you can see very closely, and you can feel it, you can touch it, you can enjoy it. Something to that effect.